Time now for Better Money Boston. I'm here with David Shapiro. He's Regional Director of Wealth at Johnson Brunetti. And today we'll be answering some of our viewer questions about retirement. All right, David, you ready for the first one?
Absolutely.
Okay, Joe writes in and says, what happens to my husband's IRA when he passes? Will it be added to my IRAs?
Joe, there's two different options when that happens. The first is you could add it to your own individual retirement account, and then the rules are the same, no different than if it was your account. The second option is you could structure it as a beneficiary IRA. There are some advantages if you're under age 59 and a half, because then you might have access to the money without any penalty. So it's partly dependent on your age.
All right. Next question comes from Joanne. She says, should I withdraw from my 401k to pay off my mortgage when I retire?
Joanne, that's a very common question we get in the office because a lot of folks, as they get closer to retirement, they have this vision of making sure that they go into retirement without that mortgage. But if to pay off that mortgage, you're taking money out of a 401k or an individual retirement account, that's going to generate a lot of taxes. So to get what you need to pay off, it might be a lot more, and that extra income could have other ramifications during retirement. So it depends on your overall financial situation, but really take into account the taxes, and it depends if you have a 7% mortgage or a 2% mortgage.
That's a very common question about that mortgage. Okay, David writes in, and he says, I'm 63 and plan on retiring at 67. Should I consider trusts?
David, the decision about trust isn't necessarily driven by your age. It's more driven by your specific goals. We have trust established because our children are younger, and it's important for us to have a plan in place if something happens to Pam or to me. So it's not driven necessarily just by your age, but if you want flexibility and control, you want to avoid probate, and maybe avoid some of those potential risks from healthcare costs, a trust might be appropriate at this stage.
Some great questions today, David. Thanks for those insights. You've brought a book today.
We have the Ultimate Guide to Frequently Asked Financial Questions. It's a book that will provide basic information that you're going to be able to use to make sure you have the great retirement you've worked so hard for.
And you can get that book today. It's free. Go to bettermoneyboston.com to receive it. Again, that's bettermoneyboston.com. We'll see you next week for another edition of Better Money Boston.